Africans. Or shall I say good evening, fellow Africans, because I'm one too. I'm not greeting them like this because Tebe is in the house. This is who we are. I had to come with a notebook where I've been editing and editing and editing what I want to say. Because with the man that you're honoring tonight, there's no way you can do it in telegram form. I have it on my cell phone and I felt, and being the journalist that I am, I thought writing is better. But also to give away my age a little bit, because after 60s. Ne? So yeah, this is me. My name is Mafafo, Innocentia, Cecilia, Ino, Mafafo Kuno. No, you haven't heard anything. If you think you've heard it all, just wait. Okay. Yeah. So those are my names. They, everybody affectionately calls me Ino. Now, I really feel very, very humbled to see this big crowd that turned up to honor my brother, Butero. And I think the Mafafo family and relatives feel equally the same as we do. Now I know the people of Kimberley and Kgaleshewe. I don't want to talk about the Gautengers because I know they know art, they appreciate art, and art is always in their faces because GP is GP and Northern Cape is Northern Cape. And we are special. We are diamonds. You'll never hear what Now, Rocky has as many names as his artworks. You've seen it artworks around here. There are so many. I think there are about 100 pieces, Buti. There are about 100. You haven't seen it all. There's many more. That's where he stores them. I'm sorry to give away the secret. Let me formally introduce him to you, as I believe no one in this house knows him as well as I do. Brace yourselves. His name, or he is known as Rochester to some, Christopher to others. Some know him as Gauganwe. That's his African name, his real name. Others would call him Chester. His other name, which is his third or fourth name, is Atwell. Some call him Elder. Others call him Papa Rock. He's known as the Rock. Ne, I rock. And then, this one he grew up with, Rockfist. I know we used to fight a lot. Now, but you know the cherry on the cake is the one that my son, Nkululeko, is here present today, Stokolo-san Mafafo, affectionately called him as his uncle when he was a toddler. That name is Nena. I don't know why Nena, but we called him Nena because that's, you know, where baby talk, ne? When babies start to talk and then they sort of change your names and all that. So she is Nena he is Nena to Nkululeko. That's what he used to call him. So when and if I use these names that I've mentioned interchangeably, please bear with me and understand that I actually mean the same guy, the Rock. Rocky is my late mom and dad's firstborn child. I guess in those days, in our era when we were born, I guess my parents only knew two words, first and last. Because he's the firstborn and I'm the lastborn. There's only two of us. Nobody in between, no one in between. So it's just me and him. So we bound together as one. Now, Probably and obviously it signifies the obvious that we are each other's siblings and nobody else. Now let me pause a little bit here. I would like to introduce the family just to put Rocky into perspective. Rocky has 8 children. I have 2 children. Because the 8 added on to me. Kinna rakhadi, kinna khadi ya tsona. Makhadi, kinna ke a rera, na le mali. Na le mali. Ga ke rakhadi o tla go palama stage ko phitlhong ya ke. I'm not that one. So yeah, let me start ka bana ba ga Papa Rock that are present here today. Kimati, can you please just stand up so that the people can acknowledge you and see you? That is Kimati Mafafo. And her daughter is Botilo. Botilo, where are you? Botilo? Yeah, the 8-year-old, there she is. Come on. And then you've got, I haven't seen Vuyo here. Vuyo Mayezasi here. I don't think he's here. Vuyo lives in Warrington. He also has his own center there. He's also an artist like Kimati. Haile is a musician. Are you here, Haile? There he is. He's a musician. Very architectural. Very architectural. Aiza. That's what we call him. And then there's Kobamelo. Kobamelo studying Kobush. Koba? They arrived yesterday with Kimati. They're from Cape Town. Kimati is based in Cape Town. Kimati, just to throw in there, not to take away Papa Rocky's shine, Kimati is an international artist, multidisciplinary artist. She's currently running an exhibition in London. Gallery Sir Paul Smith. And I guess Papa Rocco, I think, or 2 African. I'm not sure you're home. Yeah, and then there's Kobamelo, and then there's Tumarelo. Tumarelo is the last one like me. To me, there's Tumarelo. Alright, and then Nkuleko is Kulusama Thomas Akoha Mafafo. Guti, can you please just stand up? How is he? In GP, works for Easy Gas, Life Made Easy. Free advert. Actually, I'm retired, so market element. I will send you a bill. Alright, allow me this evening to open a little window into the Mafafo family and life with my brother, who has made it possible for me to stand here and address you this evening. When we grew up, my mom was relegated to being a breadwinner for high. By the set, and that was, she was relegated to being a breadwinner because of the sad separation of my parents. So automatically as Africans, when mama goes out to work, obviously who takes care of me or care of us? Grandmother. So we were raised by our grandmother, My grandmother's name was Sirialong Lekoma. She literally took over grooming and bringing us up, as my mom was a qualified private midwife, and she retired later from working as a nursing sister at the then Madoel Clinic, where the Khalishwi Funeral Parlor is currently located. That was the original Madoel Clinic. I know there's Madoel Clinic next to WHAG, next to the recreation center. That is not the original one. The original one is where the Khalishwi Funeral Parlor is placed for them. So I always knew Rocky as Booty. Because if I did not give him that elderly respect, my granny would remind me of Fatu If not, she would then pinch my thighs. You know, Narejwa Pinaka. She would do that. He's older than me, you need to give him the respect. So I would also be asked to apologize. Sorry, Booty, sorry, Booty. So yeah, that's how we grew up. Ne? And then we were brought up on a good manners, well-behaved ticket. Very strict. Tere knows my grandmother. She was very, very strict. We were always together, me and Rocky. I was almost like a little dog because I only knew him. He was my friend, he was my companion. We literally were almost infused together. Sometimes as a boy, he probably felt I'm too much. You know what he would do? He would go and hide with his friends. Usloton, Satlas Munch, you remember? That's the stormwater drainage. He would go and hide there with his friends just to get a little bit away from me. But I guess, in hindsight, I suspect that was the artist in him needing a little bit of peace and quiet from me, because me, I was here. So my grandmother used to call him Didi Bala. So she used to say I talk too much. And as a boy, he was on the mild side of bullying. When you're the eldest, you're the elder brother, and there's a sister. I'm a bit soft, and so I was very thin when I was growing up. But he was bullying me in a very loving way, and I thank him because he made me resilient. And I know that I'm a strong woman today because of my brother, and I want to thank him for that. Fast forward, closer to his art now, there was, when we were growing up, my mom realized, correct, but this child is so inquisitive, he wants to know too much, he's always asking questions, and he's scratching on the furniture. Rocky could almost translate your dining room table into a map of Africa with his drawings and all that, scratching on chairs, scratching on furniture, writing on the walls, drawing on the walls. So my mom saw this talent. He was still very young. I think he was 5 years old, I was told. I was 3 years, so I won't remember that. So my mom thought, this child, I need to do something. So she actually became very aware of the art in him, because my mom was a very creative person. She used to do tapestry, embroidery, she used to sew my own dresses. When it was Christmas, I would wear a homemade dress, and I would say, as if the ones in the shops were not sold. So my mom would sew dresses for me for Christmas, and Rocky, I remember Rocky's Christmas clothes, my mom bought him a safari suit. And then he said, I will never wear a suit again, never get a guru. But that was his Christmas present. And then my mom realizing that this is now Rocky scratching furniture and all that, I could face on the walls and all that, my mom decided, okay, for this Christmas I'm going to buy them Christmas present. Now poor me, I'll tell you what I got. My mom bought Rocky art paper, paint brushes, and a watercolor box, a box of watercolors. Because she wanted to take him away from the furniture so that he can focus, and then maybe his art will also come out. But poor me, guess what I got? I got a doll. So now I guess Rocky, being Rocky and the little bullying in him, he probably thought, oh, I get watercolor, serious stuff, she gets a toy. You know what he did? He went and chewed the heels of my doll. Brand new. And that doll was called Mandibulele. So that's what Rocky did to my doll. And then after doing that, he took it and he went to hide it for laundry basket. You remember those cane laundry baskets? Put it right at the bottom, and I would cry and cry and cry for Mandibulele. Didn't know where Mandibulele was until he got a hiding, and then he had to go retrieve it. And then there was Mandibulele Alumilele Red. That was Rocky for me. But that was my brother. And then there were these things that we would do as children. There was this one that I remember vividly. We would be sent, whenever we sent to the shop, Yaha Malunga or Koko Angel, he will hold the money. But for some reason, Rocky will always lose the money. Why? He wants to go and buy donuts and snook at school break. And then we would go back home, and then he would say, I must cry and say the money is lost. So, those are the things that we grew up with. And, was it Angeli scrums? Yeah, no, it's scrums. Scrums is those, the dough that gets left over from the pan after they fry fish. Now they're very fatty. I guess that's why I picked up cholesterol when I had it, because I'm battling with cholesterol now. So Rocky would buy these crumbs, and then he would clean his hands on my clothes, so that that's evidence that we say the money is lost, but we bought scrums. And then you go home, neat and tidy. Now my dress is very dirty, mafura at these scrums, and my grandmother would give us a hiding, and you would say, I regulate these scrums, because my dress was full of fatty stains. But, you know, I guess it was making me strong. And I love him for that. And then, yeah. If someone lived during those years when we were also young, around Kutane, Montsiwa, Tasmunchu, that's where Jala Street, there was suddenly this uprising here, gangsterism. Some of you will remember Suffering Cats. Can I talk? Suffering Cats, Mexicans. So Rocky decided for Ona Suffering Cat. Now I heard about all these things when I was talking and conniving, but I was told, if you don't tell Mama or I'm a gangster, so I was very scared, so I didn't tell at home. But then my mom came to realize, oh, he's falling by the wayside. So she came to the art gallery and met Miss Fiona Babwa. She's still alive today, and Rocky's still looking for her, but she's very old. So my mom came to the art gallery, told the stories about Rocky more, and then Fiona said, okay, now we'll apply for him to go and study for Rockdrift, Dundee, Natal. So they couldn't get an opening for him that year, so my mom said, Maramodi gangsters, I don't want this child here. So he was sent to Madikoti Technical College, and guess what he studied? And if he had just kept on, he studied water purification and sanitation. So the following year, an opening came, and my mom said, hey, you better go on to Rochester. So that's where he went, and he studied fine arts at ELC Arts and Culture College in Dundee, Rochester. You will see some of his earlier pictures. We will take you on a walkabout, and we will tell you about Rochester and the paintings and what he was studying when he did this. People pen and ink, people pencil, people charcoal, people watercolor, which is our first love for high. And what else? Sculptures. You've seen the sculptures. I don't know how he gets it right, but he does sculpturing. He can do pottery. He does whatever you give him. He does tapestry. He had a loom. I don't know what happened to his loom. And he was doing textiles, yeah? But he fell off that one. He can still do it even today. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is in a nutshell my brother and my life with my brother. I decided to become very, very deeply involved in this particular one, the exhibition, because I have in my mind, the back of my mind, I would love to do a dad and daughter collaboration with himself and Kimati. And I think that has to come to fruition. But other than that, I will not talk so that much about his art, because the writing is on the wall. Okay, so this is my brother, Papa Rob.
I mean to say I'm going back to SANKOFA. Ba in Egypt means the soul. There's Boma, there's the car, there's the spirit. I won't say too much because a lot has already been said, and I've said too much with the works that is out there. I will be having a walkabout on Saturday and some other days. If people choose, I must ask me to, I'll avail myself to that. So I will want to explain about SANKOFA. I won't talk about myself much because my sister did that, and my colleague, my hero there, my boss for the whole year. As a young man, because really this man wrote in this, but I love it because he took the me out of myself. And that's why I found the SANKOFA. And it's necessary not for me, but for us as South Africans. To me, they are white South Africans. Those are South Africans and the left South Africans. I was talking about the identity crisis that we have. We still have to point it and say this is our name. I won't go that far because if I'm going to talk, I won't. My sister was saying, we're not really how bad of it. So I will talk about this SANKOFA. When I came to Rochester, when I went to study at Rochester, my teachers were the Ellisons from America. They were very strict. It was a husband and wife, very strict family. Very, very strict, and they didn't smile so easy. It was difficult to get a smile from them. But I'm happy for that because they taught us, you know, the level at Rochester, it was almost like that at the university. The drawing that we had to do, they gave us a provisional trial of 3 months. In that 3 months, if you do not show that there's a promise for you, you can draw, you better go home, you pack your things and go home. Most of the guys had to go home and come back the next day after practicing a little bit and so on. But Rochester, like Reggie Babe has said, and those that know Rochester, they produced quality artists because of those teachers that were so strict. Like it was a missionary school, and the teachers, originally it was the Swedish that sought to establish a center for art and craft in that rural area. And then the Americans came because they were also of the same church, the Lutheran church. Now, when I got to Rochester, I was introduced through fine art, through history of art. You know, all of you who have mentioned there, you have to come into history of art. Now, if you do history of art, you go to Egypt, then you go to Greece, and then from Greece you go to Rome, from Rome, and then you go to the European countries, just like that, until you come to the modern era. Now, in history of art, that one of Egypt, it was an intense study, and we used to be so angry because we wanted just to be practical, but we had to know the nitty-gritty of designs and all that, and the way that art was approached in Egypt. We went through that and went to Greece, like I said, came around. Okay, I left Rochester and did, I left Rochester about 76. No, 77. I started 76 years. Now you must understand 76, it was a difficult year because the upheaval started in Soweto. We in Rochester, and the guys, most of the guys were from Soweto and Natal. I was the only one from Kimberley, and there was only one guy from Cape Town by the name of Botuling Party. So the guys were saying, no man, we cannot be at Rochester, but we must go and join those guys there. So we tried to disrupt the classes, but we thought, no man, we can't go and let them. Some of those in Soweto, they left and they went to join the struggle, and some of them went to exile. I can't quite remember, but most of us, we stayed. One of the guys that left, but it was later on, was Botuling Party, and he was of those guys that went to Takawa, those that have been in exile. You know, there was an art and craft center there. But we kept on until I finished 77. 77, I didn't finish 77, I wasn't intending to finish, but the Biko thing came, and then Steve Biko died. The whole guys were cemented, and they were thinking, no man, we must do something. That came the end of the year, and I came to Kimberley. Whilst I was in Kimberley, and in Kimberley there was the Mabija issue. And Mabija was thrown down from the police station there. At the time, as artists, we get affected by all this. And most of the work that the artists were producing were about the struggle. They were doing posters. I remember Charles Nkosi was doing the crucifixion of people on the cross. That's why I did the door frame. If you come to my house, you'll see there's a door frame I did about how Biko was crucified, but not like that. Impaled, what they call, yeah. Because I was doing a lot of scriptural studies, and I found out there's cross, and there's impalement, and so on. But Biko is naked there on that picture, and he's typed there. And then you see on the in the coffin and the clenched fist people. Supporters of people going for the funeral. And that's how I came, my work became messed up and to do with the struggle. You know, I did a lot of other works that to do with the struggle, but I sold most of those works because I was doing pen and ink. It was very quick for me to do that. But the SANKOFA thing is that from there on, when I came from Rochester, I was going exile. We had planned to cross the border, Botswana and so on, with the guys that I found here, because most of my classmates were the guys that were educating the students, and most of them, Bobaraparas, had crossed. At that time, we were planning also to cross the border to Botswana and so on and so on. We did some funny things around because it was things that had to be done, you know, to stop this. But then an idea came to me. It came to me while I was at Rochester, while I found Bob Marley, and I started dreadlocking at Rochester. But when I came here, it became very intense because I started studying the scriptures, and that's where I found out what Nema. The thing is not to me now. It's not too much in the politics. It's in the Bible. Because I had now to look, as I studied the Bible, and see, these people in the Bible, these are Africans, and we were doing the Old Testament. And I came to a conclusion to say, no man, we are those people. Then I as a Christian, I was baptized as a Christian. I was telling you I was baptized several times. But I'm still black legally. So I thought, no, man, the thing is in the scriptures, and I had to make an intense study of the Bible and study it. We found out, no, the practice is not right. We have to go Judaism. We have to keep the Sabbath. We have to keep all those, the Passovers, and we did that diligently. And that's when I became vegetarian that time. I never touched meat or alcohol or cigarette, nothing but only my stuff. That time I was trying to combine the art and the scripture. I had to, because I was constantly documenting. I was going to Alexander. Why was I going to Alexander to document? I was telling myself, in some years to come, these old buildings will not be there. So it's my duty to document. You see, if you come in here, there's a work by Juran Sihlali. That is a very prominent watercolorist. I was in that time going for watercolor. It was my main media. I felt I used to do a lot of oil paint, not acrylic like I'm doing now. I'll tell you why I'm doing acrylic. But I was doing a lot of watercolor and I was documenting most of the old townships. I did Brettstown, not entirely, but I did a lot of Mshenguville. Those who know Mshenguville is no more there in Soweto, but that was what I came. And I went to Kwamashu. And mind you, when I go to these places, I know no one there. I just come to the street and stand there and paint. And as the people come along, I'm a bit, and suspicious. I think these pieces are rough. But the way I wear it so that those guys, when they get me, they check it out. That's why I can't mess with it. Especially in Alexander, places like places like Kwamash. But I would know no one there. I would just stand there as people gather around me and watch. This is nice. Oh, so on. I befriend them. I have to go back to I was thinking, in Johannesburg, I'll be going back to Freire Dorpen, to Misani was staying with him. Misani was also the bank. He used to be a resident artist here from Rochester, also a Rochester student. Then I would think, it's late in the afternoon, how can I go there? Then the old lady said, are you not going to drop these boards here? I said, yeah, I'm going to drop these boards here, but hey, I don't know about that. The taxi is late, I'm doing an excuse. And he said, I've got a room there, you can. I said, Darcy. And I befriend them, and then by that, in that way, always when I come there, these ladies say, are you alright? Are you alright? Now they start to know that I'm vegetarian. When they cook, they can't cook for me. I have to make meals so that I can go buy some tomatoes and spinach and so on, make a little meal for me. Oh, that's my family. That's how I've been surviving and so on. But I was documenting all over, and then later on I went to Cape Town. The squatter camps like Khayelitsha was still fresh. There was not even the road, there was still bush there. When I was painting, I was doing that place. I was going to Langa, Yanga, and doing those areas there. Khayelitsha, they've got maybe a street that's almost like the Greeks farm, and each and every block, this one sells meat, this one sells meat, this one sells meat, this one, and pork is still fed on the floor of the meat that they are frying there. If you look at it, it's typical of it. And then there will be dogs going around, those dogs that are snatching these little offcuts of fats, and those dogs will be having a lot of fat coming out, but out of these dogs. The skin of the dogs will be damaged by the fat that they eat, mostly only fat. But the people there consume a lot of meat. They slaughter a pig as long as this table, about 9 o'clock, but 4 o'clock it's done. There's nothing left. And lots of people are still coming. Those are the works that I was doing. You'll see in some of, especially the transparencies that I have, they are permeated by a lot of those things in Khayelitsha. Now, if you go to Khayelitsha today, you won't see what I've got on those transparencies. Different, there are new, fresh houses, like houses that we find in the suburbs. That's actually what I meant, like, to say that I'm documenting the township. I did a lot of Kimberley, a lot of the streets in Khayelitsha, I did those. But you will remember that at that time, people were being taken from there were these was upper haze fund. Yeah, forced removal sort of like, and taken to what we call a Katima Mulilo. Katima Mulilo, most is people from Nanda. But most of those people I was documenting those houses. Bumam Jalosi, all this and all those. Fortunately, I've got about a box of transcripts with about almost 100 something or 200 books that every time I've documented, I go to click on and I shoot transparencies of them. I kept this transparency because a book might come out on these squatter camps, and I'm looking forward to that. My sister's writing, but I don't know if she will venture in there in those, because this is part of the heritage that not mine, it's yours. I'm trying to remind you that if you look at Holland, Holland is a very rich country, but it was made Rembrandt and those artists there. Those works are the works that draw people. Even today, you bring people there. Now, the works that you are doing, my work that you are doing, is yours. I'm investing in it. As heritage, I was always saying this. I'm doing this for the siblings, for those that will be coming and so on. I sold most of the works, but fortunately, I got the transparency, as I say, you know. But coming into the scripture, I was thinking, and I was sort of like in the Rasta community. I started the Rasta community because the struggle for me was not political, it was in the Bible, where we have to find our identity as Africans in the Bible. The story of Noah, if you check it, what complexion was Noah? I don't want to say too much that because I'm not a racial politicized someone. You know, I'm embracing, because my thing is at the end of everything. I think a multipolar resolution will be the result. And then as I go on and make this research, because as an artist you have to continually research, you have to continually find new information. And you remember, you all know that this is the age of information, this is the age of Aquarius. You know, and that's where all information is out there. It's you to blame if you are ignorant today. Because you don't even have to go to university. I wanted to go to university, but Emma saying, oh, you're an artist, you must produce work. If you go to university, you slap back, you know. So in the study of the scripture and taking out these images and putting them, you see some of my works especially that deals with Rasta images and so on. I happened to go back to where all this came from, and it led me to Egypt. That's why I say it's a SANKOFA. I started Egypt at Rochester, and now I am working on the images in Egypt. And as I go and study, I found out, no, this is we are these people that built the pyramids. It's my ancestors. I'm going to tell you something. If you check those images there in Egypt, you see those people wearing leopard skins, those ears, and the Zulus are wearing leopard skins, and the Chwana chiefs are wearing leopard skins. So there's a similarity. You can see that these are the same people, but they just came to the south. Now, people when they talk about Africa, they say down, up. They say up there in Africa. It's not up there, it's down there. You see in my pictures, Africa, you say it's upside down. It's not upside down, it's the way it should be. The rivers go down, they don't go up. The river Nile goes down. If it goes down, that means South Africa is up. That's why I was saying the other day, Shaka was right when he says Zulu is up there. Because South Africa should not be in Zanzi. I don't want to go Africa is the womb of humankind. When people who study anthropology and archaeology and so on, and those that are there's a book by Michael Tellinger, he will tell you that the pyramids in South Africa are older than those in India. And they will tell you that they found the Ankh in South Africa before those in Egypt. But when you look at these things, you'll see them. No, those are the same people. They just went from the south and went back and went down following the rivers. Now, you leave the land is vacant there. Now, it doesn't mean there's no one there. We didn't have fence to make these borders and so on. So when they went down, because of what they are looking there, whether it's grazing or whatever, they leave the land vacant. After some time, they want to come back there. That's why in the African law, the land doesn't belong to no one. The land belongs to the universe. The land belongs to the cosmos. Even the Bible says the world is the Lord and the fullness thereof. The world and all those that dwell therein. Because he founded sin upon the seas and established it out of the waters. That's why all will come out of our mother from the waters. So the land, we belong to the land. Nobody takes the land away. Nobody brought the land. That's how I'm going to resolve this problem. Now, if people say this is our land, I don't care who they say, who they are. Where are they going to take the land? Because tomorrow is going to die. Even if you are a millionaire, your child will be a millionaire and so on. But he will build it down. Next thing you'll find him in the street, landless. No land in the pocket of something. We belong to the land. We are cosmic people. We are the incarnation of the creative forces in the universe made flesh. We and God, we are one. God is in us and we is in God. God is not somewhere there. This is a European concept. When they took, the Romans, when they took, and the Greeks also, because you must understand the Greeks had to go to Egypt to learn. And some of them were killed for saying, you are bringing a foreign philosophy in our land, you know. So, and this is what the Africa has contributed to the world. Africa has contributed a lot to the world. You must remember mathematics, science, all these sciences were invented and created by the Africans. You see, and the Pythagoras theory, to be able to build all those buildings, the Africans, that's why you go to the Greek called Pythagoras. And the Greeks themselves say, we have been taught by the Africans, we have to go to Africa to learn. You see, so my thing is, the SANKOFA is that where I started, I'm now going back there, the 360 degrees. I'm going back to where my ancestors, the ancient glory where we used to be. And we are sharing in this glory with the Europeans, the Africans, because the Europeans managed to take this mathematics and create industrial revolution. First industrial revolution, second industrial revolution, we talk of fourth industrial revolution. We're just chopping with phones and all those. We can't even manufacture a toothpick. We want to talk about fourth industrial revolution. We are far away, people here. But it's not like that. If we share this, because knowledge doesn't belong to a particular someone. Knowledge belongs to all people that are on earth. You know? So my SANKOFA is that we are going back there in order to solve these problems that we have. There's one particular thing that you have a look at, and that one is that one that I did today, the one that Richard Babe said, I was telling him, that's one. But I thought this education will not be complete without that work. Because that work, it looks a little bit derogative, but if you look at it, it gives you a sense. I call it, I live in my art. My art was the balance that kept Egypt, as how it was. You must remember Egypt had 3,000 years of unbroken civilization. Continuing 3,000 years. You see, but how did they manage? They lived Ma'at. We are living with the 10 commandments. 10 commandments is only 10 out of the 32, out of the 42. And if you look at those 42, then you will see that if you live by those principles, there's no way you can say there's a wicked man. Because those principles goes like, I have not wasted food. I have not mistreated animals. I have not mistreated children. I have not wasted water. How many of us are wasting water and we just you draw a cup of water, you sip of it, and then you throw that away. After some time, you're going to leave that water. We are cosmic people, all of us. We are people of nature. We and nature, we are supposed to be one. But because of the teaching, especially from the churches in Rome and so on, people have sought to distance themselves away from God and say God is there. And so, if you say God is there, then you are here. You are not part and parcel of nature. We are part and parcel, we are like droplets from the Father. That's why my SANKOFA. My work is going back to the origins. And you will see, this is not my exhibition actually. I honor the Honorable Chibakwe for allowing me to have this exhibition. To honor me whilst I'm still here and I can speak for myself. People must not wait till I get that they want to say this and so. So this is the SANKOFA, and I'm saying that we are going back there. And as you are saying, you are all going to go back, whether you like it or not, in your study and in your research, you will find that we have to go back there because a lot of scholars now, even European scholars, are pushing the same narrative. This is, and to me, I'm still telling you, this will solve the unipolar problem that we have been swimming in all these years. It's a multipolar world. The Chinese are not so great more than the Africans. We are equal. The Chinese, the Africans, the Americans, and all that. We have to share and work together. In the process of working together, we must not forget. I would like to just let's little one. And she practice looking at me. You see, even when an artist you say what you want to say. You can't go about and hiding. So, but I'm not here to harm no one. I'm here as a uniting force because art, especially visual art, connects all people in the world, the poor, the rich, the educated, the uneducated. You can find a very, very talented artist, but primitive, as you say, somebody who's not educated is primitive. But you find that you as a very educated PhD or MD or whatever, you need that man to show you some other things because he does experiments and his life is sometimes in a mess where it brings out some other things. I used to say apartheid was good for me because it makes me a crystallized black diamond. You know, diamonds. And it gave me the love that I have, and I'm sharing this love with people. It's not mine, and even the work, it's not my work, it's your work, it's the heritage.